Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. And don't forget, what I'm going to do is a quick rebuild video on the carburetor for the ATC 70. I was asked about doing a video for the 110 and the 70 carb, the 110 carb, all about the same. Obviously you're going to take the carb off. You got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts hold the carb to the manifold, and then you undo a this is a Phillips head. You loosen up the clamp underneath there. I think you guys could see it, and you wiggle it off. In this case, by the way, my where's it hiding? My slide was stuck in the carburetor. It was rusted in there a bit, so I hit it with PB Blaster, and I hit it both sides, and then I also loosened the cap and sprayed it down the top, and then I was able to get in the back, right, you know, and work the slide out, back, front, and I managed to get the slide out, did not break the cable, which is your goal. So now the carburetor is free to rebuild, and let me show you what I'm up to there. Yeah, I'm gonna take these with me. So here's the carb, and I've already loosened up a few screws because I'm going to be doing a one-hand carburetor rebuild. I recommend having a small box right close because that'll help keep you from losing things like these screws, right? These screws are more or less the same for all Honda carburetors, but why be tearing a carburetor apart that you don't need to tear apart to just to steal screws from it? Okay, this one's a juicy one, juicy and nasty. See that brown stuff on the bottom? If you it's actually hard, and the more I let the gas dry up, the worse it's going to get. And you can see the carburetor itself has problems. This is the main jet that I'm unscrewing now, and when you clean it up, you got to make sure that the hole in the center is clear, plus all the ones on the sides. I don't know, could you see those? I think you can see that they're just off top center, so to speak. There's several of those around, so once again, you have to be able to look up at the light, like, you know, up at the sun like that, and see light through the center and through all those holes. This jet, same thing. You have to see light through the center, plus all the holes there. Make sure it's clean, top, bottom, and all that. Of course, I'm going to have a mosquito biting on me as I'm trying to do this, right? So you take the pin out, don't lose it, don't lose your little it's a fuel shut off, little needle valve I call it. Be careful not to bend or break anything here. So at this point the carburetor is almost empty. I normally don't take out the idle screw. I don't mess with that because there's no reason to, but there is right there. That's the idle mixture jet. You take that out. Okay, there's a spring behind that you don't want to lose, because if you lose it, once again, you got to hope you have a junk carburetor somewhere that you can borrow another spring from. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. probably... No, that doesn't appear to be cooperating. Anyway, what you do is you take the needle valve out, and you be careful not to lose the spring. Once this is out, when you blow carb cleaner through here, you should see it come out. Could you guys see that little hole inside the carburetor? You should see it jet out there. When you blow carburetor into the main jet, you should see it come out. That brass one further down, that one in the, actually kind of in the center there. When you blow stuff in here, you should see it blow out those holes there. And as a matter of fact, you should go through the trouble of blowing solvent through all that stuff. A lot of times with these, this is a Japanese carb, Kevin Kevin from Japan. I try not to put these in solvent, in the carburetor clean. I try not to submerge these in the solvent. And the reason why is I'm always afraid there's some rubber O-ring somewhere in there that I'm not going to get out of there, and then the solvent's going to eat it, or the solvent's going to turn it into a small plug that's going to wash through the carburetor and get into trouble. So I try not to put the bodies. I don't even put these parts in solvent unless I really, really have to. I just rather not. I'm also going to take this part apart to make sure it's clean, so that fuel will go in, because it looks pretty crusty there too. So I mean, that's just me. Other people do. One other thing to note, there was an airline hook to this that went off elsewhere. Sometimes if you unplug the airlines from the carburetor and say, spare parts, they could cause a vacuum leak. And then your carburetor, a lot of times it won't idle properly. So if there are hoses on it and you decide to get rid of them, it's better not to. Try to keep all the hoses on there. And if you do get rid of something, like, oh yeah, I got rid of that hose, and then it doesn't run right, just remember you might have caused yourself a vacuum leak. This carburetor actually isn't too bad. It's not pitted. I don't think it's been cleaned much. A lot of that is going to have to be removed a bit mechanically. But I think this carburetor will come back to life. So I'm going to clean everything up here. And hopefully the next video you see on this bike, the carburetor is smashed back on there. I'm probably going to use an external gas tank because I don't think I'll have this one done yet. But probably the next video on this bike you'll see. Hopefully it'll be a first start video. After smashing the carb on it, I have to make sure it sparks. A lot of these, well, when they're this old, I expect to find points back behind this cover here, and a lot of times the points get grow some stuff on them. So oh yeah, nice and crusty. I'll probably give those a cleaning. Hopefully the capacitor didn't die from sitting around. So I'll probably clean those up, make sure I got spark. The carburetor will be on there. I'll check the oil. It doesn't seem to leak any, so yeah, the oil actually looks pretty good. So then I'll fire it up. I don't know if there's an air. I mean, the air filter assembly is here. I don't know if there's an air filter on it. The carb looked pretty good, so I anticipate there being an element in there. It looks like just a square block, like a sponge, like a 2 by 5 inch sponge, about 3/4 of an inch thick. All right, folks. I hope that helps. I guess Luke is having some trouble with the carburetor on a 110. yeah, just make sure these things, every hole is clear, plus top to bottom is clear. That's very important. And you know, obviously blow those holes out. And when you blow out the idle mixture, when you blow this out, make sure it, you know, blows into the carburetor. You know, you could see solvent go into the carburetor. And then even as you're blowing through all these other holes, right, as you blow through the hole here that that's where the gas comes in to fill the carburetor, make sure it comes out the actually it's going to come out there, so you're going to blow in here and the solvent's going to come out right there. But make sure those are all clear. And then even on these guys here, you know, blow through these holes, make sure they come out, that guy there, right. I normally don't fool around with the drain type things, and the reason why is if they're not leaking, I just assume they continue not to leak. But if I take them apart and put them back together again, chances are they're gonna leak. So normally I just let them be, right. Okay, once again, I hope that helps. If there are any questions, please get back to me. Remember, keep your feet down, keep your head up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Make sure you have fun. All right, folks, take care now. Bye.